Everybody, my name is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we are going to have a garden tour. I have been so blessed. My very best friend has spent the last 3 days here from Maryland, and we did so many projects. So join us as we check out the gardens. First off, I want to show you this little flower bed outside of my kitchen window. If you have been with our channel for a little bit, you will remember that this was a complete disaster. We had overgrown bushes where the bottom had been eaten down to nothing by the deer and the top was over the roof. And so we needed to dig them out, drag them out, and we were left with a hot mess. And I'll put some pictures on here showing you how bad it really was. This was the next big disaster that we had. We had a very old shed that we had put our gardening things in, and it was right here on the edge of the backyard. What we decided to do was to drag that thing off, fix it up, and make it a chicken coop, and then put our garden behind it. This has left us with another big mess that we have been trucking along on, and that is leveling this yard. We had added a fence and we need to put the gate on, but we have brought in loads of dirt from other places on our property, and we're almost to the point where it is level and I can start planting some seed in here. That brings us to my vegetable garden. I just put my trellis up, and this trellis will be the entrance into the garden, and I'm going to put my clematis that will climb up it. So I have one. I'm going to need 2 of those, but one step at a time. Remember, you can't do everything, but you can just do something. And that leads us into my vegetable garden. And I don't remember the dimensions. I have 7,200 square feet between this garden and the original garden, which was a potato patch that is close to the barn that you see in the distance there. Now, when you look at my plants, you're going to see that they are significantly behind most of the gardens in the U.S. We are in zone 6B. We just moved here in January, and all we had was a very old 1972 house, and then all this land, which was basically a hayfield. So we have been working nonstop trying to whip this place into shape. And these plants have been in the garden for less than a month. But even saying that, we have Roma tomatoes, we have beefsteak, we have cherry tomatoes. They are all growing very, very quickly. Jim and I were able to build these trellises, and these are out of 6-foot T-posts and then cattle panels. They are holding my 64 tomatoes. If you watched my container growing video, you will see these again. These are my mineral tubs, and these mineral tubs have my pollinator flowers and all my herbs. I have the very tall marigolds in this very first tub, and I am anxiously awaiting for them to bloom. But I do not have any blooms on these marigolds as of today. Going down the tubs, I have oregano, and then mini sunflowers. That is parsley, snapdragons, basil. Then I have dill, Italian parsley, and a few tubs of flowers. And as you can see, Betsy's working hard on taking her 18th nap of the day. In the middle of my tomatoes, I have 2 rows of tomatoes on the left, 2 rows on the right, and in the center is my cut flowers. And these are zinnias. Not only are they giving me beautiful flowers, but they are giving me pollinators, and that is so important in your garden. After my tomatoes, I have 64 peppers, and they range from bell peppers to hot peppers. They are still pretty small. I think in another week I'll be able to sell those at the farmer's market. This Variety was Gypsy. It is actually a sweet pepper, but I had never seen this one before. And this is my basil that is growing in a mineral tub, and this basil is absolutely beautiful. So I will be selling this at the farmer's market again this week. I've been selling it every week, and it is a huge hit. But you know what? The more you cut, the more will come. This next section of my vegetable garden is my trellises, and there are 6 of them. I have cucumbers, lima beans, and beans on these trellises. They are pole beans. And so let's take a closer look. These are Armenian cucumbers. Funny thing is, tastes like a cucumber, looks like a cucumber, but in reality, it's a melon. I can't believe it. Started growing these last year, and they are by far my absolute favorite cucumber. I think that is all I'm going to grow for me for eating. These are lima beans. They will also grow up my trellis. I have 2 different kinds, King of the Garden and Christmas ones. This is a new bean for me this year. These are the yard-long green beans, and I cannot wait to see them hanging down on this trellis. And then we have pole beans because Jim loves green beans. Leads us into the brassicas, and believe it or not, this is a red Brussels sprout, and I have lots of them planted this year. And cauliflower. Now I've noticed that there is some leaves that are being chewed. I have looked all over here for the cabbage worm caterpillar. Haven't found one yet, but I know there is one to be found. I'm going to find him tonight. And what in the world is this caterpillar kind of looking thing? This is a floating row cover, and I am blown away with how well my broccoli, my cabbage, and my cauliflower are doing in this tunnel. I will be honest with you, I had my doubts in using this floating row cover, but look at the size of these plants. Now, these broccoli have only been in here for about 3 weeks, maybe only 2. And they have more than quadrupled in size. And they are also in the shade for a good portion of the day. So I am blessed to have both sunny sides in the garden and shady ones. Look at this. I have not been able to grow red cabbage in years. And the reason was the cabbage worms. But in this floating row cover, those butterflies cannot lay their eggs. This is my curly leafed kale, and I'm going to be able to cut some of it this week and sell it at the market. I am not a kale eater, but a lot of people are. I have a variety of lettuce. Some are red, some are green, romaine, leaf lettuce, all different kinds, and they are doing wonderfully even in this heat. And whenever a crop is over, I immediately replant. So this is the new lettuce that is coming up to replace the older ones. I had gotten some free mystery plants because the tags were missing. Well, I thought they were squash. Turns out they are cucumbers. The corn is doing excellent. And again, I planted it in woven weave fabric. This is acorn squash, my absolute favorite kind of squash. And I planted 6 of these plants. How about some mini cantaloupe? These are just 4 inches across. And I love melons, but Jim, not so much. So these are single serve, perfect for 1. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, and if you're thinking it's too late, well, they've been in for 3 days. And these will be ready just in time for Halloween. Mama sunflowers, I raised these for my chickens, and so these are going to get about 10 feet tall, and then the heads have anywhere from 100 to 1,000 seeds in them. So I cut off the heads when they are ripe, and I hang them in the garage, and then all winter I toss my chickens another sunflower head. And talking chickens, there they are. I purposely wanted my garden next to my chickens so I could easily toss in any of the extra garden produce that we're not going to eat. Crimson sweet watermelon, I planted 15 of these. And what is this beautiful plant? That is one of my sweet potatoes. I plant a ton of sweet potatoes. These I started myself from slips, and they are Beauregard. So this end of the garden is just barely getting started, and I will take a video in another month. You'll be blown away. These pumpkins and watermelon will completely spread into this entire area, as well as the sweet potatoes. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my garden. It is still very, very early, so in another month, you're not going to recognize any of this, and I will touch base with you again at that time. Have a blessed day. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.